Hey folks, welcome back. I cannot, if I'm lucky, I can comment on your comments, respond to your comments, or when I watch your video to post a comment. So I'm not sure. That's acting up here once again. And this right here is what I'm seeing when I try to post a comment. So there's that. The mama duck that was sitting on all those eggs, well, there was two mamas sitting on a whole bunch of duck eggs because the nest was so big. And when the first duck started hatching, the other duck abandoned the nest. I think she figured that she has done her job. So the mama that remained on the nest couldn't possibly cover all of them to keep them warm, even though they were hatching. So a lot of them were pipping. Some of those eggs weren't any good. A lot of them were half hatched, but 10 ducklings out of all those eggs that fully hatched and were running around. Apparently, this mama thought that was as much as she could handle, and she got off the nest, whether they were almost hatched, pipping, half hatched. So it's unfortunate because I wasn't here this weekend. If I would have seen her abandon the nest, I would have taken those eggs and incubated them somehow to keep those eggs hatching, but they did not make it. So she abandoned her nest after 10 ducklings, so that's what she's got, is 10 ducklings out of all those eggs. But she was 2 weeks late in hatching them. So I'm surprised any hatched at all. I really am. So 10 little ducklings. That's plenty. I've already got a home for them. My short videos are taking several hours to post, folks. So I guess it just is what it is. I can't imagine trying to load up a 20-minute video. It would take a day or two. So in my last video, I talked about remaining positive here on my place. Just living my life the best I can and being as happy as I can. There's a lot to be concerned about. A lot of crazy. And mosquitoes are pretty lively. But I told you in that last video there was something that I would like to voice my opinion on. And I'm just going to touch on it. I'm not going to go overboard on it. There seems to be an increase in ignorance. For example, I was busy yesterday, but I had people pop in one right after another. There was 2 times when somebody was backing onto my driveway and someone was waiting to pull in. So yesterday was a busy company day. People just pop in, and that's all right. Always glad to see them. But one such visitor popped in, and I'm not going to say she was upset, but she was upset. She was frustrated. And she said, "Do you remember my uncle who is very critical of everything that I do?" I said, "Yeah, I do, Uncle Raja." And she said, "Yeah." I said, "What did he say now?" "He said that I spend too much time in my garden and it's a waste of time and only poor people garden." No, that's not accurate, folks. Not only poor people garden. People garden because they like it. People garden because, well, they just enjoy it, right? And the food is so much better. It tastes so much better. Nothing like going in your garden and grabbing things for a salad or eating a handful of green beans right from the plant and picking a small green zucchini about 4 inches long, and wiping it off and eating it like you would a cucumber. That's what I do here. Gardening is rewarding for a lot of folks. A lot of folks that follow channels like mine rather enjoy gardening. We can learn from each other. We can go through the struggles together. We can problem solve together. And we can get ideas from one another, right? So this person tends to always be Uncle Roger. Always tends to let everyone know that he's well off. He can afford to go to the store. He can afford to do all this stuff, right? And he doesn't brag to those who are as wealthy as he is. He brags to those who want to live a simple lifestyle where money isn't always everything, right? So I know quite a few people who live like I do, who are pretty wealthy. Money doesn't mean much to them. They just happen to come into it, or they had a good job and they didn't feel that they had to spend that money on frivolous things or trips or whatnot. Now, not all of us are poor, folks. Not all of us are poor. Some of us choose to live this lifestyle because that's what we were drawn to. It's in our heart. It's in our soul. Some people get that. Got it. Some people get that. Some people don't. But just because you grow your own food doesn't make you poor. It makes you smart, in my opinion. So I told him, well, I said, he's never going to have anything to say. He's never going to have anything good to say. He's quite critical. He likes to put people down. He likes to have people be in awe of him. He's got this great big monster truck that it's all fancied out. And he likes to have people say, "Whoa, that's a nice truck. I wish I could afford a nice truck like that. I wish I had this truck." And then talk about the specs of the truck. He likes that. He likes to have people be in awe of him. And I have never gotten that. I just have never gotten that. That's just not who I am anyway. If I can drive a vehicle like I've got, runs good, it does need some work, my mechanic will be busy for a little bit when I bring it in. But I don't need to show. Matter of fact, when I got this vehicle, I said, all I need is a vehicle that, I said, you know how I live. All I need is a dependable vehicle that can go through the snow, that can handle hauling grain and all of this. And I don't care if it has 3 different colored doors or 4 different colored doors. I don't care. It's got to be dependable. It's got to be reliable, right? And it's got to be comfortable. It's got to be comfortable. So there's all kinds of people that walk this earth. There are some of us who tend to mind our own business and make our bubbles work. And then there are people who are show-offy, get their digs in, makes them feel good to put others down or make them feel weak or lesser than they are. Well, I can tell you, those of us that are grounded, pretty sure of who we are, try to be good people. I think we're a whole lot better than those people who are all for show, who tend to be all mouth, all bravado. Some of these people, their ego works on overdrive. It does. So that's what I've got to say. People are going to have opinions of other people, no matter what you do or say. And we just can't let that we can't let that ignorance bother us, because if we are truly in our peaceful way of living, the way that we are choosing, then those other people really don't matter what they say or how they treat us, right? Now, well, the older I get, the more I can let a lot of that go. And I said, well, it's a them problem, not a me problem, and just let it go. But sometimes I have a mouth on me, and I can let them know that I didn't appreciate what they just said. I'm not bashful. I'm not bashful whatsoever, folks. So that's all I've got to say. Y'all be good. I'm going to go in where it's a little bit dry. I started smudging my wood stove to keep the dampness down because I fell asleep with the windows open, so it's a little damp in there. So a little smudge will help dry that out, dry the air out, and heat it up just a little bit because it is a little chilly. So you all be good. Bye-bye.